Hello my loves, I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being on my channel, where we are talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse. And I want to talk in this video about this topic, right? Because it was in the comments. Thank you so much for commenting, by the way. Please don't be scared to comment. And if I make a video on it, it's because it's really useful stuff that you comment, right? Because some of the narratives out there are not helping people heal, and they're not true either, right? So there is a narrative. So thank you so much, because I appreciate this, because I'm happy to talk about it and shed the truth on it. That goes round that is that the narcissist has such a fragile ego, and that they're so insecure, which is why they behave the way they do, right? By its very nature, it's a complete contradiction. The narcissist is like an egomaniac. They have such an inflated sense of self-importance, right? So having a fragile ego and being an egomaniac don't go together, right? The narrative's off. They don't have a fragile ego. The reason they get mad when you seem to challenge like their complete superiority and their right to do whatever they want to whoever they want at all costs is just because they are above you and you have no right to challenge them in their mind, right? Not because it's fragile. People with a fragile ego get insecure, yeah? And they're driven by that insecurity. They'd get anxious, they'd get worried, they'd get self-conscious. Now, a narcissist does often ask for a lot of praise and adoration, but that's not coming from insecurity. So again, we're projecting empathy on people that don't have it. So because we try and understand it in our context, right, we try and project why we would behave like that. So the narcissist always wanting praise, adoration, attention. A lot of us would only do that if we were very insecure and wanted reassurance, for example. That's not where the narcissist is coming from. They have an overinflated sense of ego, not a fragile one. You can't break a narcissist's sense of ego. You'd have seen it. If you reject them, they get angry, perhaps, and they try and have power over you, but they carry on. It's not destroyed. They go out there and flaunt it, and they're with the next one and the next one and the next one. They haven't got a fragile sense of ego, which is why they don't break down often in the way that other people do. This narrative is off, nor are they insecure. They think that they think that they're superior, they're justified in their superiority, and they have the right to try and diminish and potentially destroy you because you're inferior to them. They're not insecure at all. We project this because we want to understand it. And there's another reason why I think we do project this. For example, you know, like how for kids in the playground, if a child picks on another child, right? A mother will often say to the child that got picked on, oh, he's just picking on you because he's jealous of you, to make the child feel special. Yeah, this is very commonly done, that parents will say, well, they're just picking on you because they're jealous, right? We say it to our friends, we say it all the time, coming from wanting to make someone feel better and special, you know, because they're being picked on. But the truth is, a lot of the time when someone picks on you or a child, they're not jealous. Sometimes they are, but often they're not. Often they're just mean, or they don't like you, or they think you're a loser, or whatever, but no one wants to hear that. So it's the same kind of reasoning that we create these narratives to make people feel better in the short term. The narcissist is... I mean, you know, someone said because the narrative is that they are really insecure, masking, you know, but the mask is superiority. Oh, no, they feel superior. It's not a mask, that part. Like, they feel superior. They're not masking their insecurities. They believe they're superior and entitled to act exactly the way they do. And they think we're the weak ones for not being like them, right? So it's like the child. Not every child that picks on a child is jealous of them. Some children don't like you, some are mean to you, but we like to try and soften the blow. So that's where I think some of this comes from. And saying the narcissist is insecure, no, they're not. In fact, nothing is consistent with insecurity in the narcissist. They go over and over again on the same behaviour. They'll repeat the same behaviours over and over again. Someone that's insecure doesn't do that, actually. And even if someone, you know, so a healthier human with like a normal emotional response could beef themselves up, try and look more important because they feel insecure, yeah? That's probably where we're getting this idea from. Like, when would a healthier person inflate the truth and lie and try and look better. Well, if they were insecure. But that's with a healthy person. Remember, not all sociopaths are narcissists, but all narcissists are sociopaths. So it's not coming from any of that. You can't understand it in your context, our context, right? So we've got to understand it in the truth. And the truth is, they feel they've got it's a contradiction in itself to say they've got a fragile ego and an inflated one. And the fact is they've got an inflated one. They're confident in it. They are so sure of it. They can lie with complete confidence, right? They've got no insecurity with it. Total inflated sense of self. Yes, they seek a lot of praise and attention, but that's because they're confused that you're not giving it to them, because they think they're better than you. They think they're better than most people. So therefore, if you're not praising and giving them the attention, they think there's something wrong with you. This is the narcissist. We've got to understand the mind of the crazy if you really want to, rather than project our minds on why we would behave like that, right? I don't suggest you understand the mind of the crazy, but sometimes it helps. So they've got a completely overinflated sense of ego, and they think it's confusing that you're not understanding that, that you're not praising them, right? That's how they kind of are. They're not insecure. They don't spend time mulling over all their insecurities at all. They don't act in any way insecure. In fact, it's absolutely shocking how the narcissist thinks they're the, best thing on the planet, They're not even attractive, a lot of them, and they'll be very, very secure and certain about their ability to get with people sexually, that kind of stuff, because they're master manipulators. Like they're masters of illusion. You can get caught up in it and realise you're not even attracted to them. Like they've got a very strong psychic pull because they're just manipulators. So they're not insecure, and they're egomaniacs. Not fragile ego. So this isn't, honestly, thank you for making these comments. Please don't be scared to comment. If I make a video saying that's not true, honestly, I appreciate the comment, because what people are reflecting back is so much mainstream BS. And although, like when your mum says that kid's just jealous of you, it can make you feel better in the short time, some of what people are saying out there, that they're not monsters, that they're not that dark, that they're not evil, that they're not soul-detached entities, human shells operating with an entity of consciousness called narcissism. We can say that all we like, but the fact is it's a spiritual sickness and they're dark, right? And, it's like we don't want to hear that truth. We want to pretend that they care. We want to pretend they're capable of changing. We want to pretend a lot of things, but really it's not healing us, because truth is the start of all healing, consciousness, because when you can look at something objectively as it is, it's much easier to make choices and decisions from there. When you're projecting and pretending and buying into narratives to soften the blow, it's harder to heal because you're not accepting reality. And part of the process of narcissistic abuse is confusion and cognitive dissonance. So we've got to accept reality. They are complete egomaniacs. Their ego is not fragile, and they are not insecure. They're absolutely feeling superior. They love power and control, not because they need it, because they get a hit off it. They get a hit off your pain. They get a hit off your despair. They get a hit off how much they can affect you negatively. Lots of love, guys. I'll speak to you soon.